Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing my October wrap up. I'm super excited to share these books with you. I think I read 18 books this month, which is insane. I'm so proud of myself because I haven't gotten to this number in quite a couple of months, and I've just been reading a ton this month, and I'm very proud of myself, but I still have a lot of goals that I want to read, just like more audiobooks and all that stuff. I've been in a real audiobook kick, and I also surpassed my Goodreads reading challenge of 120 books. Normally I just do it to 100 books every year, but this year I wanted to do 120. Even though I surpass this every single year, I know that I will surpass 100 and 120, but I just wanted to just up the stakes a little bit. Even though I knew I would do it, it's just like, I don't know, I wanted to keep my goal going. So the first books I want to share with you are the ones that I read on Kindle or just don't have a physical copy of. So the first one is Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. So I think I talked about this a couple times on my channel, just in passing. I have been absolutely loving House of Dragon. I just love the show. The show finally ended. The first season ended, and I'm just like so sad. But I love the show. I love the familial conflict in it. I think it is such an incredible storyline. I just love it, and I really wanted to read Fire and Blood because I love the show so much, and of course I'm not going to be naive and think like, oh, the show is going to be exactly like the book, but I did think it would read more like a novel or something like that, like a real fantasy book. But no, it read like a history book, like a textbook, and it was so incredibly boring. I wanted to just like give up. I actually skimmed the parts that I just wanted to read. I gave this 2 stars. I was so disappointed. What I really wanted from the story is not even it to be like the show. I just wanted that familiar conflict that we see in the show, but it's not the whole thing. But it was just no dialogue, all history, read like a textbook, like I said. But that's kind of on my bad because I didn't realize that it was not going to be like a regular fantasy book. I feel like not a lot of people talked about it when they were talking about House of Dragon, like on TikTok or whatever, that this is how the book is. But then I found some videos where people were like, this is how the book is. After the fact I read it, I was like, oh dang. But I was just disappointed. But that's okay. I'm just watching the TikToks where people already read the book and got the footnotes, and I'll be like, okay, I know this now. But anyways, I just didn't love it, and I was a little disappointed. But anyways, the next book I read was The Beast by Janika Snow. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it was fantastic. Super spicy. I just loved it. This is the first book I've ever read from Janika Snow. I give this one 4 stars. It was so good. And then I read The Hunter, which is in the same series. This is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, but it's more modern than the Beauty and the Beast one. And she is on this little island that she inherited from her grandmother, and she meets this wolf creature, and they do some spicy things together, and it's really good. There was breeding kink in here, if you like that. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. It was such a fun read. And then I'm trying to think. I think that's all that I read on my Kindle or whatever. So let's get into the physical books I read. So grabbing my first stack here. One of the first books I read this month was Damnable Grace by Tillie Cole. Now this is the 5th book in this series, I think, and I really enjoyed this one. I don't want to give too much away. This is a motorcycle romance series, and our heroine, she was in the cult, but then she got sold from the cult to this racially motivated organization, and I don't want to say the name because you could probably guess. It's in Texas, and I don't want to say that. No. Okay, so the next book I read this month was Damnable Grace. This is a part of the Hades Hangman series by Tilly Cole. I really enjoyed this one. I think I gave it 4 stars. And our heroine, she gets sold to, like, she was in the cult and she gets sold to this other, like, organization that's, like, with the cult. And she's basically a prostitute. But not willingly, and the hero basically saves her and gets her out of that situation, and it's really good. That's all I really want to say because I don't want to spoil it, but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a little long. I do really like this series, but I feel like I don't know, I just didn't love this one as much as the other ones. Maybe because I just didn't really connect with the characters. I mean, I did, but like, I don't know, just something different in this book. But I still did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars. Highly recommend the first book though. Love that one. The next book I read was The Demon's Bargain by Katie Robert. I think I gave this one 3 stars. This is like a shorter book. It's a part of her Monsters series. And this one, the heroine is a witch and she makes a deal with a demon because she lost this like family heirloom. And I didn't really love it. I gave this one 3 stars. It just didn't hit it for me. I felt it was kind of boring. I felt like there was a little too much plot in this one, but that's what I expect there to be, like really no plot in these types of books. But I just didn't love it as much as I liked the first one. So 3 stars. I don't know. I just didn't really like it that much. The next book I read this month was From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. I did a reread of this one. I actually listened to this one on audio, and it was so amazing. I really, really, really love the audiobook narrators, and this is a sports romance, and they are figure skaters, and the hero and heroine are teamed up, but they absolutely hate each other, and it's just so good. Their banter is amazing. I love this book. Another 5-star reread for this one. Of course, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it the first time around. So good. Highly recommend this one. The next book I read was closer to the beginning of the month, and that is Ty by Kiernan Cole. So our heroine is kidnapped when she is 5 and she's held in captivity for 11 years. And our hero actually is the one who saves her. And when she comes back to her family, she has been like waiting years to see her family. And she kind of feels like they moved on with her life without her, and that they don't really want her back, and so they send her to this like facility for 2 years where she can kind of get reacquainted with the world. And so she's out of that, and now she is trying to figure out her life and figure out where she wants to be, but she just keeps thinking of the hero, and she kind of views him as her Prince Charming. The only way that she really got through her captivity was she actually had a book of fairy tales in her backpack that she had when she was kidnapped, and she just reads them over and over again kind of as her escapism, and she views him as her Prince Charming, and it's just so good, or Prince in Shining Armor. And so she reacquaints herself with him, and they start this friendship. He lives out in the woods because he had a very traumatic past, and he is very scarred. And he just doesn't think he's desirable to society or anyone, and so he really can't believe that she wants to spend time with him and that she actually likes him. This is also an age gap romance, a little bit forbidden, but I absolutely love this one. I give this one 5 stars. I also listened to the audio of this one, and it was so amazing. Highly recommend the audio. The next one I actually read on Kindle Unlimited, and that's Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. This is a part of the Salacious Players Club, and this is a stepbrother, stepsister romance. And so our heroine is older than the heroine, and he actually sees her on like a webcam website, and it's like, holy crap, like what is she doing on there? And so he goes to go visit her and the rest of his family at their family lake house to see like what this like kind of attraction is that he has for her, if there's anything there, and there is like attraction there from both parts, but she doesn't like him because she's always had a crush on him, and she just thinks he views her as this like brat, and they start up a romance, and it's really good. I really love this one. I give this one 5 stars, and I love the mental illness representation in this book. Our hero deals with mental illness, and I just really loved how it was represented in this book, so highly recommend this one. And then I read Reckless Memories for a reading vlog, my small town romance reading vlog, and if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that one, I'm going to link it down below, but I gave this one 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. And then I read Bad Boys Break Hearts by Macaulay Smeltzer. This is a hate to love college romance, and so our hero and heroine actually know each other. They were best friends when they were younger, and she is actually going to the college that he goes to, and he's really mad at her because she left during their childhood, but it wasn't really like her choice. Her parents kind of forced her to move away, and he harbors a lot of blame towards her because of that, and so he kind of bullies her a little bit, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. Super angsty and fun, and she actually dates his best friend, and then he gets even more jealous, and I just absolutely adored this one. I listened to it on audio, and it was so amazing. I'm super excited to read more from Macaulay Smeltzer. This was like my first book from her, so I'm excited to continue on with this series. And then I also read The Clover Chapel by Daphne Perry. I read this for, when did I read this? Oh, my small town romance reading vlog, and I gave this one 3 stars. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, I thought this was like meh, so I don't know. I just didn't really love it that much, but I thought it was okay. The next book I read was Fractured Sky by Catherine Cowles. This is her newest release, and I absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. This is Shiloh and Ramsey's story. This is the last book in this series, which just breaks my heart because I absolutely adore this series. It was my first series from Catherine Cowles, and it's just so good. And so Shiloh was actually the little girl who was kidnapped in the first book, and she is still trying and struggling with what happened from her kidnapping, and she really feels like her family is just like suffocating her and making her feel very claustrophobic and trying to keep her on locks because of what happened to her. And so she actually befriends Ramsey, who is our hero, and he is a horse whisperer, and he has a lot of demons from his past, and he actually went to jail for something that he didn't do, and so people kind of view him as like the black sheep of town, very mysterious, like kind of a bad guy. And so she's like been visiting his ranch for years, just watching him horse whisper, and then they kind of become friends, and he's like, well, why don't you stay at my ranch if you want to get away? And she's like, sure. And so they continue their friendship, and it slowly blossoms into a romance, and it's so good. And there's some suspense in this one. There's always suspense in Catherine Cowles' books, but I really love this one. Small town. I just loved how emotional it was and how it was beautiful but heartbreaking at the same time because they both have dealt with so much in their life, but it was just amazing. So good. And then I read It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. I listened to this on audio. Hyacinth and Gareth have literally my whole heart. I love them so much. I give this one 5 stars. So Hyacinth is like besties with Lady Danbury, and Lady Danbury's like grandson is Gareth, which is the hero, and so she has been trying for years to get them together, and then they finally meet, and he kind of reveals that he has this familial mystery that he's trying to figure out, and she's like, okay, I'll help you, like I can read Italian, like I can decipher and translate this, and so they work together, and then they slowly start falling in love for each other. It's very fun, and I just loved Hyacinth's character for so many books. I just think she's so funny and mischievous. She has a lot of Eloise in her, but she has some things from her brothers, and I just think she is so funny. And I love seeing Lady Danbury in this one. I think she is just such a fun character, and it was just such a fun read. I laughed out loud throughout this audiobook. It was just so good. The next two books are kind of a part of the same series, and that is Flawless by Elsie Silver, and then Heartless. So I'll talk about Flawless first. So I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. Rhett is a bull rider, and he said something bad about milk, and one of his biggest sponsors is a milk company, and so they basically dropped him, and his PR company is like freaking out, like, you have to fix this. And so like the person that is his PR team, like the head of it, he asked his daughter to kind of watch over Rhett and make sure he doesn't like say anything else that's stupid. And so she kind of has to babysit him a little bit, and it's really, really funny. Hate to love, but then they slowly warm up to each other, and it's so good. This also has like one bed trope, and it was just super fun, and I really, really enjoyed this book. I absolutely loved it. I love the ranch, the cowboyness in it, and it was just such a fun read. Then I read Heartless like right after Flawless because I just couldn't wait for Cade's story. And so Cade is Rhett's older brother, and he is a single dad, and he is like the biggest help on the ranch probably. He kind of runs it, like the family ranch, and he needs somebody to be his new nanny. And so that's when Willa comes in, and Willa's actually the heroine from the first book, like her best friend. And so at first he's super against her being the nanny because they have this funny like meet cute, and he's like fine, and she has this great relationship with his son, and he just can't get her out of his head, and she can't get him out of her head, and it's just so good, so angsty. I felt like it was very slow burn. I think it was like 250 pages until they got together, but this is like a 400-page book. But I absolutely loved it. So fun, and it just made me laugh out loud. I just really, really love this series. It's so good. And then I read probably my most anticipated read, which is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is actually the Waterstones special edition, and I think I'm going to give this one 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I love seeing an epilogue for Atlas and Lily, but I just didn't really like how I feel like Colleen Hoover kind of tried to condone like well, no, not condone, but like the characters tried to condone what Ryle did, like, or didn't condone it, like, especially his sister and her husband, and I just didn't really like that. I'm like, really, why would you still talk to him if he literally abused his wife? Like, doesn't really make sense to me. But anyways, I did really love seeing Atlas and Lily. Atlas is so sweet, and I love seeing his story with him having a younger brother. But I just was a little disappointed, but I don't really know what I was expecting anyways from this book. Like, I felt like it was just gonna be another book in the series, but it did feel like an extended epilogue. It didn't really feel like a real book, but I still enjoyed it. So I don't know. I'm still mixed on my feelings. For right now, it's at a 4 star, but that's kind of where I am with this one right now. And then the last 2 books I listened to on audio. So the first one is Forbidden by Carla Sorensen. This is the 4th book in this series. It is a forbidden single dad romance, if I can remember correctly. And it's also Hate to Love. So our hero is new in town, and he bought this gym, and our heroine is the manager of it. And I think he was a fighter. I can't remember what type of fighter he was. Maybe MMA, I don't know, but he was a fighter or a boxer, I can't remember, but he is new in town, and he bought the gym, and our heroine, is actually like adored him and idolized him for years. And so when she finds out that it's him that bought the gym, she's like, oh my god. But like, she tries to be mean to him so that she won't feel attracted to him. So that's why it's a little Hate to Love. But he's just so mysterious and hot, and I really, really loved his character. And I loved her relationship with his daughter. It was just so sweet. I just really enjoyed this book. It was such a good read. I finished this audio in like a day. 5 stars, probably one of my new favorite forbidden romances. And then I reread a favorite, and that's Culty by Marina Zapata. After I read From the Girl with Love, like reread that on audio, I was like, I had to reread this one, and it is still so freaking good. 5 stars, so amazing. It is a soccer forbidden romance, coach and player romance. Slow burn, just amazingness. But that is the end of this video. I had such a good reading month in October. I'm so proud of myself. I read 18 books, and I just love that for myself, because I really feel like some months I'm like stuck in this rut where I can't, like, I get in a rut where I'm just like, I don't really feel like reading right now, and that like happens for like a week and a half, and then I'm like, dang, I should have been reading. But anyways, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching my October wrap up, and I will see you soon. Bye.